All right. So today we are talking to Joellen. My name is Monica Ortiz. We're going to talk about building your confidence as a handmade artist. For anyone listening, whether you are an artist or not, whether you identify as an artist or not, I want you to think of this as like a transferable skill. You can apply confidence to any part of your life. So really hear Joellen's story and like how she was feeling before, what helped her during, and then how she's feeling after. I really think that's the piece of the story that can apply to anyone no matter what. So Joellen, and Sonny says she's calling in from New York. So we got us all
Yay.
over the place. Yes, New York, New Hampshire, North Carolina. All right. So Joellen, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Thank you again for having me, Monica. It's such an honor. Hello, everyone. My name is Joellen Reichenbach. In this venue, my company is called Joellen's Expressions, powered by Select Sales, which that's my other company that does marketing materials. So I'm just so excited to be here to talk about how I morphed into something for the future and in the current life as well. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, that's a really good bridge because I know that people come to me sometimes either with their 9 to 5 or what they have settled and thinking about like, I have this sort of dream. I'm not sure if I can do it. I don't know if it's going to work. So can you tell us a little bit about like where you were a few months ago, maybe September, October, and then how your main job fit into that vision that you were sort of thinking about?
So if you don't know me, I have been doing marketing for over 25 years, and I love my main source of income, which is called Select Sales, and I do branded promotional products. But as I look into the future and say, well, where do I want to be when I retire, and what do I want that to look like? It started bringing up a couple things for me saying, well, I really like to dabble in all different crafts and things like that, like from pottery to using watercolor, you name it, coloring, doodling. It all kind of comes together when it's supposed to. But there was one little but that happened. So I did a huge life shift in 2020 and I moved into a tiny house. And so that means no matter how many pots that I throw or how many baskets I weave, there's only so much space that I can hold on to things. So I wanted to be able to figure out, if I do all this fun stuff in arts, how do I get rid of it? Do I donate it? Do I sell it? What do I do? And I was struggling with, do I, should I, could I?
Yeah. And so what made you even want to try coaching or say yes to that? And I also think that when you say yes to that, it's really saying yes to yourself. Like, what was that like for you?
Absolutely. So I believe that counseling is near and dear to every element of my life. And when I was talking to Monica and I heard her offer to really explore, doing coaching and to dive deeper into the feelings that I was having over this process, I was like, heck yeah, I want to do this. I want to figure out how this feels, because I'm hesitant. I keep hesitating. And when you hesitate, sometimes it's a reason that you should move forward or shouldn't move forward. And I felt like I was sitting in this space of limbo. So with Monica, I just felt like it was just the right thing to do.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen Joellen's, like, she's gonna show us later her handmade art, but just her art in general, it's very inspirational. It comes from her heart. It's intuitive, and so I was excited to definitely like figure out like, because you can see someone and go, oh my God, there's so much potential there, but really it's your journey. It's like you have to really decide what you want, and I know for you it changed. So
It
like, can you
did.
talk a little bit about like what you wanted in the beginning and how that changed, over like we worked over 8 weeks. So, and I know there was a shift for you.
So, well, I want to also give some foundation that I think was so instrumental in this whole process that Monica brings to the table. Sorry, earbuds shifting out there. She had me really look within to say, what are my values for myself? And what are the values for the idea of becoming an artist? And how do we bring those values together through the dimension of releasing my art? Because the interesting thing was it wasn't always about selling my art. I wasn't sure if I should donate it or what should I do with it. So as we went through this journey about understanding why I wanted to do this, I learned that, I wanted to be creative. I just wanted my downtime to be creative. And then if my creativity brings life for me to release out to the universe, then that was important. I also wanted to hold myself at the highest integrity because I knew I didn't want to confuse my audience and say, okay, do they going to think that I lost and closed select sales when I didn't? And will they get confused with having this art side of me now? But then there was this really cool spirituality part to the whole thing too. Like I wanted to feel myself feel fulfilled in what I was doing and not necessarily feeling the pressure of producing, because that's not my goal. My goal is not to be an artist that's my only income and that's what I need to do, crank it out. It truly was about playing and having a sense of accomplishment for still my core of myself. And Monica really helped me keep that in mind as I was going past through the 8 weeks and really taking a look at, feeling could this happen? And then magical things started happening when we started working together. And I'm not sure, Monica, when you want me to jump into that, but I'll let you ask the next question.
Yeah, because I know we got into this idea of limited editions. And I want you to talk about it only because I think people do think that, they come in thinking this all or nothing. It's either I'm going to start and it's going to be so big that I can't keep up with it, or I'm going to start and it's going to take away from, my responsibilities, my 9-to-5 job. It's almost like this tug. And it's I think when we talked about limited editions, that was your sweet spot. It's this is you claiming this is actually what I want, regardless of what it looks outside. This is what I want.
Yeah, great thing to go over. So I just want to tell you, when I'm doing my arts, it's 100% for me and what I'm feeling, and not so much what I think that the global world needs from me. It's more about what do these two hands need to do in order to feel recharged in order to do my day job. And I'm going to use an example. I feel like I've been in a state of capturing my dreams and where I have come to and what I want to do. And then all of a sudden within my arts, a dream catcher came to my mind, and I knew I wanted to play in clay, and I knew that I wanted to hand weave a little bit. And so all of a sudden I started making dream catchers. And this is the funniest thing that happened. All of a sudden I started sharing the dream catchers and I got this large order, and I was like, wait, I'm not ready. But I dove in and looked at the extra supplies I had, and I said, okay, I could do this. The interesting thing that happened was I realized I offered all of a sudden writing little notes for each dream catcher and individually packaging them and mailing them out individually. And all of a sudden I said to myself, Monica, I don't think I want to do that side. I don't really want to get into doing the personalization because, again, my day job is all about personalization and mass production. And it had a shift that took place saying, I don't want to feel the stress of making multiples. I wanted to always stay, again, back to the core values that I knew. I wanted to stay creative, but creative for me. And so that was a really aha moment for me, was I just want to produce whatever it's meant to be, release, and let it be.
Yeah, I think it was fun watching you experience that, I will say, on my end, because I think that's where the light bulb sort of shifted. I think that was around halfway through where it was I can do this, I'm doing it, and also I get to decide how I want. You can kind of pivot and shift even as you are going along.
Well, and I thought it was also really powerful how you had me welcome all the different feelings that I was feeling as I was going through this journey. It was oh boy, I'm fearing, is it going to get over too big too quick? And that would be like everybody's dream, but it wasn't mine. And then the worries would come. And I love how you had me like literally strip down those emotions and allow myself to feel that, because once I felt it, I was able to then to adjust. And then I was able to move forward and realize it's like, it's okay. And that's where I can't say it enough, is like really pushing yourself to be okay and who you are as an artist, and allowing you to decide what is right for you instead of what is right for everybody else. That's my greatest thing I blown away about.
Do you think, like, was that, because we're talking about confidence too, do you think that's what gave you the confidence to like make it and then sell your handmade art, or was it something else?
I think with having you, and this sounds really, maybe this might sound childish, but I loved how you held my hand and said, okay, what's 3 things that you would like to work on? And or I picked 3 things. I don't remember it, whatever it was. But I loved how I was able to check in with you and say, you know what? I don't know if I want to do Etsy. Maybe I want to do a store on Facebook. And then I was able to say, okay, I'm going to make a decision which one I'm going to try. And you at no time, like, you helped me answer my own questions through the journey by responding and again, just kind of coaxing me. And I think that's really what helped build the confidence that, you know what, this can be what it needs to be. It doesn't, again, different than if you're doing it as a full-time income. But I like that it gave me confidence to say, you know what, yeah, it's okay if I only want to make, 10 pinch pots and that's it. And I want to, glaze them and make little lids and I only want to do 10. It's okay. I can walk away from that and pick up another thing I want to do. And so I really believe it's because you were guiding me through the roommates that are talking inside your head saying, I'm not quite sure if I deserve this opportunity, or maybe I could do it differently. Wait, don't make a decision until you have it all right. Instead, it was like the little nudges helped me just say, you know what? I'm just going to jump in. If I make 1 sale, great. If I make 10, great.
Yeah,
so I hope that answers.
It does. It answers it. Because it's like, to me, confidence, you build it in action. It's like this Instagram Live is a perfect real life example of it. Like, I really do think it is. Like, you actually have to take all the action and see what happens. And I love how you're talking about, like, that you get to change your mind too. It's not like one thing that's set. Like, if you choose this one thing, that's it forever. It takes a little bit of that pressure off.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beautiful thing about being an artist. An artist can change their mind. An artist can have a series. An artist could just have like one piece. That's it. And you'll never see it again. I just think you just got to let the energy flow on what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Can you show us some of your limited editions? So the limited editions means that Joellen makes it as she's being inspired, and whatever amount she has, like, that might be it. She might offer it again. She might not.
Yeah, again, remember, my art is truly just for my time to recharge me and to 100% feel that excitement of the balance of not working my full-time career and then having playtime and staying with those values. So I'm going to try to avoid the glare. So Monica actually helped me with, even my packaging and making a decision how I wanted things to be packaged and how I was going to track my inventory, how I was going to brand it on the bottom with what messaging that is important to me. And I was trying to keep it as simple as possible because, again, investment of the opportunity is here. It's like how much do you want to invest into your crafts, and then making that decision financially, like even buying a rack to put these on. It was just a place to hang them. So this is another dream catcher that I made, again, handcrafted out of clay, hand built, and then stringing the string and then putting a beautiful feather on it. So adventuring from there, I got the feeling, and I'm wearing one, is I wanted to make some charms. And to give you one a little bit closer, I made some charms and put a little, rhinestone in it. Again, it was just because I was in the mode to like feel like the power of flowers and things in my life. One that I'm working on now, when I said pinch pots, literally pinch pot made from my hands, holding the clay, pinching it and feeling the earth, and then going and firing it and doing raku. But then the beautiful thing that came to me as I was working with Monica was the inspiration to turn it into an intentional box, which it's still in its infancy to be finalized, but I'm working on how do I build a lid that I can basket weave and put on top. What type of little scrolling things do I want to put inside for the person to write their intentions in? So, I mean, again, this is just something from my heart to the world, and it's small. Why is it small? Because I only have so much room. And small makes it easier to keep playing. So, I mean, I could even show like some things I did in watercolor. Yeah. You know, I don't know where these pieces will go. I don't yet know if I want to let them go into the universe to be sold. But I just kept going and making a decision what the 4 seasons meant to me. So these could be framed if I want it. They could be, tossed to the side. Monica might remember this one.
Yeah.
But again, art is what you choose to make it. And Monica really helped me stick to what was important to me. And what was important to me was to have play in my downtime to recharge me to do everything else I want to do in my life. And I can't thank her enough for doing that for me.
Yeah, and that it's possible, because this is another piece, and then after I want to see if there's any questions, that it's possible to make money from this, like that was the other piece, because I know a lot of people come into being like, don't know, should I set a goal? I'm not sure. And I think in even doing it, testing it out, you got your answer, like if it's possible or not.
Well, and that brings me to the question of, okay, when I retire, like this is everybody's dream. One day we're going to retire, right? And I was sitting there and I said to Monica, wouldn't it just be really funny if I could offset, my lot rent? Could I really make the same dollar amount as my lot rent by doing my favorite craft? And then I started to realize, sure I can. And even if it's that smaller dollar amount that I'm choosing, if I hit that goal, then that feels good. And it just opens the dream to be like, okay, well, imagine again, if I want to travel and go to a conference and be with a bunch of potters if I want. Well, again, not being something stressful, I could say, okay, I need to do X number more and push it out to the world. So it just depends on what you want to financially from it and then how you want to build it. So Monica was great at helping me staying focused, saying, okay, well, Joellen, you just came up with 5 things you want to do before we talk the next time. Let's stream it back a little bit so it's more obtainable. And it's like, yeah, man, that's true. And being comfortable with it, I think, is important. So,
are there any questions that you guys that are on? I know I have one from last week. I had asked in general about confidence, and I'm curious what you answered to this is like, how do you build or keep confidence when you don't feel it?
Ooh, this is a loaded one. Oh man, I wish I had him. So if my husband's watching this, which I think he is, he probably can grab it. So like we'll challenge him. So I have something called my secret cards. And Kevin, if you're going to go find them, they're actually in the bathroom near my little motivational cards. Challenge if you are really listening to this video. And so what it is index cards that are on a spiral ring. And what I take the time to do is I actually write out affirmations. And then after my affirmations, all of a sudden comes in what has been my successes over the years. So every year when I conclude the year, I write down what was my success from that year. It could be three to five things, six things, whatever my heart desires. So when I'm lacking my confidence and I feel like, man, the world doesn't really want to be engaging with me. Oh, I think he's going to win. He's coming. Oh, I love this man. Oh, I have to unlock the door.
And if anyone has questions while we're waiting, definitely put them in the chat. So I'm looking at your comments. I'm seeing the little hearts that people are putting.
All right, so here it is. You gotta love the man for watching and being with me. So I'll have to kind of just flip. So literally, it's just index cards with a piece of vinyl on top, and this is pretty old. They've been through water. They've been through a lot of rough things. Like you can even see the water stains from the ink. So when I'm lacking confidence, I literally can come in here and say, what do I need to recall? You know, what was my intention about? You know, what are my, you know, this was done in 2017. Wow. So I would even write in the colors that would support, you know, health, family, career, wealth, and prosperity, all this great stuff. And then all of a sudden, like back then, I had like what my personals were. So it enables me to go, okay, like this sounds really funny, but like, you know, when I remodeled my house in 2017, the kitchen, man, I knocked out a wall, I installed a wonderful new look, and the kitchen feels great. You know, it's like, that's pretty amazing. So my cards, there, I'll pull another one. Oh boy, this is a good reminder. Founded in 2011, I created the Lehigh Valley Nonprofit Awareness Expo, which felt good to connect businesses and nonprofits together. Wow, like that's awesome. So like my successes help build the confidence because it's so easy for my mind to get complicated, and I journal write all the time. And I think journal writing is important as well. But I also think like things that can help give you support. Like this is my crutch. When I'm having an off day, I look at it and I'm like, wow, can you believe I bowled a 300 game? Not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's pretty cool. So it's reminding me about who I am and what I brought. So if you don't have success cards, it's just index cards that help you sit there and go to yourself and say, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. That I think is a great exercise. I think it's very practical, tangible, it's easy. And it is like the part that I love what you said is like remember who you are. Because in that moment when you're feeling that lack of confidence, you're forgetting everything else you've ever done. You're forgetting all the times that you've had something new happen in your life that you actually were able to like learn, figure out, like, you know,
Well,
improvise.
And I think this is where Monica, also with her services, is also very important. Like, I know that I could walk through my challenges about, like, I remember the one time I sat with her and I said, Monica, man, I made this. I think it's completely ugly. I don't even think I'm going to send it out to the universe. And she was just like, really? But it's really nice. And I'm like, no, it just doesn't call. And she's like, well, let it sit for a little bit and see how you feel. And I was just like, okay, I could do that. And, you know, did I ever put it out there? No, because I still don't think it was worthy. So I think it's also important to use, you know, Monica's services to take those feelings when you're having those low moments and walk through it with her. Because sometimes, and I say this with a lot of love, from the Untethered Soul book, sometimes the roommates in our mind get a little too yappy. And if we don't tell them like, hey, I hear you, it's time for you to go in the other room now, you can lose their confidence and spiral out. When in reality, you could work it right through by saying, hey, Monica, do you got like an extra half hour for me? I just really need to work through this. And I think that's important too.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything else that you wanna say? Anything that you wanna leave for folks, or where they can find your work?
Oh, so my work is on Facebook right now. It's on if you didn't know, Facebook now allows you to start a store, and my store is called Joellen's _S Expression powered by Select Sales. So if you just look for me as Joellen Reichenbach, you'll probably stumble upon it. And then if you want to have secret cards, know that I have extra index cards that are already with a ring, and I could mail it to you. So just find me and say, I want a little success thing, and I'll mail it to you, because I would just love to do that to support you too.
That's so generous. I love that. That's so sweet. I think that we are going to wrap it up today. Thank you so much, Joellen. I love
You're
everything
welcome.
that you shared. I'm happy that the folks got to see your work, that you get to go follow her on Facebook for sure. If there's anything, when you are watching this, I hope that it sparks something in you and you're like, oh, maybe I have a project in mind or I want to be more creative. You can definitely set up a free mini session with me. But keep watching, keep watching. I'm going to be talking to more people on these lives, and definitely keep an eye on the stuff that Joellen is offering. Oh, thanks, Soli. She said this is great. Love your art. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Keep an eye on what Joellen is offering, because it's always going to be something new, different. But honestly, for me, the key, like, I guess, joy of it is that it always comes from your heart. It's always genuine. It's always authentic. There's always some meaning behind it. And like someone will connect with it.
I agree. Thank you so, Monica, for having me here. Thank you so much. Kevin, thank you for bringing me my secret cards. I appreciate
He's our
you.
co-host.
Yeah, can't do it without you. And everyone who has showed up and everyone who watches this thereafter, if you're not sure if you're an artist, reach out to Monica and find, if you can, bring the artist alive inside of you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a good day.
Bye. Thanks for having me.